Hi, hi, I'm glitching. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Scotch Trekker. We're looking different.
Yeah, just like how some of the characters in this episode and the episode itself underwent significant changes in identity. Let's review those changes and more.
Good idea.
This episode was originally called The Citadel when the episode's name was first released. It's since been renamed Sukal.
So a lot went on in this episode. You've got Burnham, Culber, and Saru going down to see the Kelpians. Did you, Scotch Trekker, did you enjoy this episode?
I really liked how the Kelpians were portrayed in this episode, and I thought it was interesting that Dr. Pollard was established not only as a doctor but also as a vet. While I did enjoy this episode, I didn't think it was one of the best in Discovery's third season. What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best one when you think about some of the other episodes, which were just blown out the water amazing. But this one had like the biggest twist in the world when you've got Burnham landing and she's a Trill, you've got Culber as a Bajoran, and then there you go, you've got Saru as a human, you've got Doug Jones, and we can see it's Doug Jones, and that one floored me. That one I was not expecting. Just how did you feel about that?
I thought it was great. I thought it was explained very well when you found out, well, it's due to the sort of intervention of the holographic sort of technology. Yeah, it was great to see Doug Jones in human form. And also, I think it was probably quite satisfying from his perspective to see like some of his castmates wear makeup, even though they don't usually. Which is obviously had similar cases in previous episodes in Star Trek.
Yeah, and I thought the way they brought it in as well. So you've got Burnham as a Trill, you've got Culber as this Bajoran, and you just see Saru's feet, and he's like, "My heels can touch the floor." And in our previous one of our previous interviews with Noah, he said about Saru having to, he has to wear those hooves all the way through. That must have been such a relief for Doug Jones not to have to wear those for a whole episode. So yeah, that was great for me. Real nice surprise for me.
I noted the writer of this episode previously wrote the episode Scavengers. However, the episode's director has no previous Star Trek directing credits to her name. I looked up the director's sort of resume in IMDb, and even though Star Trek Discovery isn't listed on there at the time of recording this video, I noticed that she's had really quite a long career. She started directing back in the 1970s, and I worked out she's 71 years old. Still directing.
Fair play. And the actor who played Sukal is Bill Irwin, and he hasn't got any previous Trek, but he's got loads of TV under his belt. He played a baddie in CSI, the same CSI as Paul Guilfoyle, who played the Guardian of Forever. So,
Carl.
Sorry?
Or Carl.
Oh, Carl, yes. So that was just a nice little hark back to there.
The name Bill Irwin sounds familiar to me from probably other TV shows.
Yeah, he's got like 90 odd on IMDb, but I couldn't find anything for Star Trek. And I've noticed that they're being really quite cagey on IMDb with Discovery. They're not putting anything on for Discovery who are playing any of the parts. I really had to quite dig to find who was playing that part, because I thought the actor did the part really well. This sort of childish adult, and he would be childish because he's been brought up by holograms. Whilst he's had a lot of protection and support, he's still not had 100% pure emotional support by real Kelpians. So I thought that was really well played, actually.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that performance. I've seen quite a few people, I think on Facebook, guessing, is that the same actor that played Ron? Like thinking it's Max Grudenchik, but it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Um,
Um, so that side, so that whole sort of landing in the ship and dealing with the holograms, whilst on the ship, because Saru's down on the planet, you've got Tilly acting as captain. How do you think she did as acting captain, Scotch Tracker?
I was really impressed by Tilly's time in the captain's chair in this episode. It didn't come as a surprise to me, and I do think that she works better as a captain or commanding officer rather than the first officer. I suppose the reason it didn't come as a surprise to me was because I was thinking back about how in the second half of the first season, she has that experience already of having to give the impression that she is Killy from the Mirror Universe, and obviously Killy has, as we've just seen in Terra Firma again, she is in command of the ISS Discovery. So with that experience under Tilly's belt, yeah, it didn't really come as a surprise to me.
Okay. Yeah, I think she absolutely knocked it out of the park. I think
Yeah,
the scenes between her and Syra were really, they were really powerful. You've got two women who were just trying a power play there, and Tilly wasn't going to be intimidated by it.
I thought it was really exciting and cool that we managed to guess that due to um, his sort of feelings about connectedness with the Kelpian species, that Saru would leave Discovery. Thought that was really interesting, and also I was looking back in an article that I've published early in Discovery's third season, when a lot of people were asking, and the article was asking what you thought about the theory of the Amiga molecule from Voyager being the cause of the burn, which at the time I didn't think was really likely either. So yeah, it's interesting that this episode again has also sort of validated my views on that.
So, how do you feel about this being the center of the burn?
Well, it came as a surprise to me, but I thought it was a really quite a cool explanation. Um,
Devastating, though. Devastating that it was done completely by mistake. I obviously know that whatever I know it wasn't something that was done on purpose, but it was just this poor child that has been left alone and babysat by a whole load of holograms has caused the burn inadvertently.
yeah. Okay, I understand it was caused by the kid, which some have theorized that maybe the what you think is the monster is the kid.
Ah, yes.
Uh,
I think
but
there's something more on that monster.
okay, cool. But also, yeah, after two watchings of the episode, I still don't completely understand how like his feelings are being like magnified to such an extent where it has like that effect on like the galaxy or whatever. Yeah, I don't really understand. I was having sort of flashbacks to earlier in the season when they show Book and his brother, and they're empaths, and they have the effect on
Yeah.
the what they call the sea.
The sea locusts.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. There's also in Enterprise, right near the beginning of Enterprise, there's the weather keeps changing as per what's going on. I don't know. I just feel like that this is seems a little bit familiar about it. The environment being in sympathy with the character. It's just feeling a
Mm.
little bit familiar. I'm not saying it's copied or anything like that, but it's making a bit of sense to me.
Mm. I'd also like to say that I've watched and watched and watched one particular scene which I found really quite interesting. which is the scene when you see he's credited as Hollow Vulcan, and he's maybe like a Vulcan ambassador or something like that. When Kaminar joined the Federation, and the aliens, I found it really interesting to watch the background. Who's in the background? Because one of them, I think, really looks a lot like the same species as Barash from the Next Generation episode Future Imperfect, who was able to create like a holographic environment all around Riker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I may have to watch that scene again, but that's not a problem because I'm sure I'll be watching the episode a few times, so that's fine.
When Book was undergoing radiation exposure, what did you think would happen to him afterwards?
I genuinely thought that all got solved quite easily, although I did think that it was quite sweet. You could see that he was like, just his priority was the cat, and then it was like, oh yeah, and burn him. So I thought that was quite nice, and I like what you said in the beginning, that we've found out that she's not just a doctor, but she's also a vet.
Mm. Yeah, cool.
What about you?
Well, I actually watched it the first time with my dad, and he thought that Book was going to be written out. That he was going to be so affected by the radiation, but I didn't think that. I thought the 32nd century technology, medical technology, would heal him, which has obviously turned out to be the case. Prior to the arrival of Osira and her ship, the Viridian, what did you think the ostensibly Federation vessel would turn out to be?
She just said that there's a Federation ship, and it didn't click that there was an issue. Because it should have done, really, because there should have been alarm bells ringing, because nobody else would have been in that sort of expanse. What about you? Because you're more alert about things like this than me.
Well, actually, at the time of watching that scene, my dad shouted out, "Oh, it's the USS Enterprise," and I thought, "No, it's not that."
It wasn't the USS. That's only going to happen once.
Do you think Osira's got a spy, and if so, who do you think it is?
This is because she knows so much about Tilly, or Red as she calls her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not thought of that. Who do you think are potential lineups to be her spy?
But I've been guessing. I think it's maybe Vance.
Okay, because if it's anybody, what about Rin?
Yeah, I considered that as well. Which, yeah, I can see is plausible.
I mean, it would break my heart a little bit, because he was going against her. He was plotting against her, and she cut off his antennae to punish him. I saw that there was an Andorian land on the ship.
Mm-hmm. At least one.
Part of Osira's group.
Yeah, well, I was surprised that like so many of them look human in the Emerald Chain, which is supposed to be the alliance between the Orions and the Andorians.
It was a bit like Saru being human. When I get that they needed to be different. No, I didn't get it.
Didn't get what?
I didn't. I'm thinking about it now. Why was Saru human? Why wouldn't it have been okay for him to have been a Kelpian when he landed? If it was okay for Saru to be human, why couldn't Burnham have been human? Why couldn't Culber have been human?
I did think about that as well, but obviously, like the holographic technology is malfunctioning, so it doesn't really like understand that. It's, all these people are glitching and everything.
Okay.
That's what occurred to me anyway.
That makes sense.
What did you think about the way this episode ended on a cliffhanger and the departure of Culber and Saru?
No, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So you could see that Stamets was just about to, he was taken over, or he was hypnotized or whatever it was with that little sort of crown thing, and you could see that she was going to jump, or she was going to get the ship to jump, and I thought Book and Burnham were going to just get in, they were going to make it, and maybe they were going to lead some revolution in the Jeffries tubes. But no, that didn't happen. That she jumped before they got onto the ship. That bothered me. And as far as Saru and Culbert staying behind, that did surprise me a little bit. Mainly because Burnham's just been the centre of this season. I kind of thought, oh, it's going to be Burnham again. But I suppose Burnham's going to be the main part of the story with her and Book saving the Federation. But I'm a bit concerned that Culbert's going to die in this bit. I don't want that to happen.
I think that would be good, and I really enjoyed the cliffhanger. I think it would be cool, like if they wrote out at least one or two characters. I was sort of like watching The Mandalorian season 2 recently, and like there's at the end in the season finale, they had so many different protagonists fighting like robots basically, and I just thought like at least one of them, should go, because it makes it like seems to up the stakes a little bit and makes it a bit more like realistic. Not everyone would survive every single situation.
Yeah, I mean, you think of great Game of Thrones. I mean, at the end of the first series, they killed off the main character, and it does allow those sort of lesser characters to come up and have stronger, bigger scenes, bigger storylines. But I wouldn't want to be the one who's choosing out of our main cast who to lose, because I'm invested in all of them.
I remembered even like historically when you got like the likes of Psycho and stuff like that, and people are shocked when like the main character dies like halfway through the film. It can be like impactful to lose a character or two or whatever.
I suppose in Discovery, the only person to have, so in Discovery, you've had Jason Isaacs, Lorca, he's gone, and he obviously went in the first season, and you've had Giorgio.
Midder.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking.
Midder Lorca's gone, but where's Prime Lorca? Like some fans are still waiting to see that.
Yeah, there is obviously Prime Lorca, and Giorgio's gone. So I suppose you've just lost a massive character with Giorgio gone. So I'd be amazed if they do let go of anyone big. I don't know.
But then again, people like know that Giorgio will be back in the Section 31 series, so they know. Well, it's not so much of a loss because we know that she'll be coming back in her own series. But yeah.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see. Who could you lose?
That's a hard question. I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Probably like Laurel or like Tyler or something, being not in the season.
That really cheats way out, isn't it? Somebody who's already 900 years ago.
Here's a good one. I'll guess Takuma. How many stars out of 5 would you give this episode?
I think that this for me would be a 3.5.
Cool.
What about you?
I give it 4 stars.
Okay, I think it's okay, and I think the 0.5 is for that huge twist. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I am so looking forward though to next week.
What huge twist?
Well, just coming to see Doug Jones as not a Kelpian.
Oh right, I didn't think of that one. I thought it was 3 others. I was like, I don't see that one.
I saw that as like a twist.
The twist I could think of were the departure of the Viridian and Discovery, the cause of the burn, and There was something else. When they were showing the monstrous creature, I did keep thinking to myself, "Oh, is that going to turn it to be like of Baul origin?" Um, but it's not. It's actually Kelpian.
So, okay, what I meant with the twist was the twist for the viewer,
Hmm.
breaking the fourth wall, if you like, and saying that's Doug Jones, the actor, without the Kelpian prosthetics.
Mm.
That's why I gave it 3.5 rather than 3.
Yeah, I thought it was really really good. Because like I said at the time to my dad, who was watching the episode with, like they've gone like the full hog on showing Doug Jones, with less and less makeup, because so often he's portrayed, as we discussed in the previous interview, um, as like monstrous and so much makeup, like in The Shape of Water, for example. Um, but obviously in this one, he looks completely human. So I thought, yeah, that's really quite cool.
He's tweeted that he shaves his head, Doug Jones. He said he doesn't need to do that for the prosthetics. It just makes it a little bit easier. And with him wearing prosthetics so often, just makes it easier. And in this episode, he's got this sort of mane of sort of auburn hair. So that it's not just he's not got the prosthetics, but they've given him masses of hair as well. So it's a massive jump away from Doug Jones in the prosthetic. So I just thought it was really great. Well done.
Cool. At one point of the episode, I did notice it was like a color change in the screen or something like that, and I thought that was it looks really strange. Because Mary Wiseman's hair like usually looks, I would say, like brown red. But I noticed like there's one shot where it just seems to like look completely brown. Because I think like the colorizing of that shot didn't completely work or something like that. There was a
Oh,
glitch in or something. And someone else has pointed out that the character of Reese, um, the Asian officer, is wearing a the 32nd century style of communicator, or tri-communicator as it's actually called in Discovery's third season. But at one point you see that it's changed to like the former style of Discovery communicator for some reason. So yeah, there are some errors and stuff in this episode, I'd say.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. I must admit, I didn't notice it when I was watching it, though. I mean, there are some people who are just so good with those sorts of details, and I'm just
Yeah.
sat there just enjoying the show. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for watching this episode. Click the like and subscribe buttons. Everyone at the Scotch Tacker hopes you have a great Christmas and New Year. On the 1st of January, we'll be going live on YouTube with a variety of guests to discuss the most recent episode of Discovery, which will also be the 800th episode of Star Trek in general. So join us then. It will be at 7 p.m. GMT or 2 p.m. EST. But for now, get us out of here. Drag you later.
Merry Christmas.